welcome again to the still Untitled podcast. Are we going to come up with a name for this?
It'll forever be the Untitled podcast.
Just keep it as that, yeah? I don't know, maybe a fan can chuck something out there and be like, call it this.
That'd be good.
You can come up with something that plays on Welsh and mushrooms.
I know where to find some good Welsh mushrooms.
That sounds like a whole other...
That's a different channel.
Yeah, we're going for a walk. Woohoo! We won't be back. But thank you very much for joining us on the Untitled podcast. Yep. We're going to be digging deep into some stuff here regarding the hobby and where we get our ideas from. As ever, I am joined with... I've got to come up with a new one. The Gazcol Thracker to my Macari. There you go, GW on there. Welsh Miniature Board Gamer.
I have no clue what you just said.
Oh, wow. Basically, really big monster orc, little tiny goblin.
Okay. Thank you for calling me a little tiny goblin.
No. I'm Macari. No. Oh. Right, so in this one, we are going to be looking at inspiration. Mm-hmm. And what and how and where do we get our ideas from? What do we do? Not necessarily just for the miniature painting, but for me, I also use it for coming up with ideas for stuff as well. Like, for example, in a really old video, I made a friend bought me a wand for my birthday. It was a bit of fun, so I made a whole wizard's box for it. So I've got like little pots with troll hair and all this sort of jazz, like phoenix feathers. Just made all this random stuff. But yeah, it could be absolutely anything. But yeah, inspiration.
Yeah.
What inspires you, Welsh Miniature Board Gamer?
Well, to be a wise man, everything around us inspires us. So, and that is true to a certain extent. Everything around us does influence or inspire us in some way.
Yeah.
So from our likes to what have you. So if we like something, we're going to be inspired by it, or we're going to want to maybe not imitate it, but do our own version of that thing. So say you like J.R. Tolkien, chances are you're going to be writing fantasy which is similar in style to that. And there are 1,000,001 authors who have done exactly that, rewriting J.R. Tolkien. So, we are like a product of our likes and what we have been influenced by, So, me, I live in Wales, as you may know by my name of my channel. So I'm influenced very much by, fantasy-wise, by my surroundings. So kind of that sort of murky woodland, mountains, that sort of old Britain, sort of fantasy setting, that is kind of what I'm influenced by my natural surroundings. So when I think and paint miniatures, I tend to think of what historically people would have worn, in my surroundings. So that isn't that long ago in Wales, by the way. We're quite backward. There's a lot of us still roaming the hills looking for dragons to slay. So I would say that as a beginning, the inspiration for me, sort of fantasy-wise, would be the world around me, the land around me. That sort of... I grew up in a very sort of rural area, so I wasn't exposed to certain things which maybe some other people might have been. So like I didn't grow up in an industrial area.
Yeah.
So I haven't got that instinctive grasp of, say a Necromunda style background. Because I'm from more of a farming community, I'm more of a rural. That's kind of what has influenced my me being raised. So everything sort of, I'm sure you come from a more developed part of Britain than I do.
I don't know, have you seen the Black Country? Oh, there's parts of the Midlands where they're shouting evolution. So I can say that I'm from there. It's fine.
But do you get what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Because actually, you saying that, would you say you're more fantasy than sci-fi?
For miniature painting and for miniature games, yes, definitely.
Okay, cool. So, because I'm just wondering, because you saying that about your surroundings and your upbringing, how I had a feeling it might have had a sort of tell on that question, because I'm concrete jungle. That's where I am, and so I do tend to paint more sci-fi than fantasy. And I wondered if that is an offshoot of that, because that industry that's around and big factories and stuff.
I think it might be,
Yeah.
Because like my first instinct is, sort of woodlands. That's the sort of image I just come to my mind, because I live in God's country and you live in the pit of hell.
I'm pretty sure God's not Welsh. Pretty sure he's from Yorkshire, because that's God's own county.
I'm pretty sure you'll find out he speaks in a Welsh accent, though.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, I think it does influence us, where we're from. So, yeah. I think we've mentioned this before, but I don't know if we caught it on camera. So, I do wonder a little bit, like American people, they don't have that sort of old sort of roots so much as we do. So like, I can walk, let me think. I can walk about half a mile and I can reach my first castle where I live.
Yeah.
And I can walk another 3 miles and I'll reach a next castle. And I do wonder a little bit with Americans, do you feel the same way about, sort of like these historical fantasy? Do you instantly feel it? Or is it something that, is alien to you? I got a feeling that you've read enough, you've seen enough in, like, on TV and what have you, to sink in. But, it's not instinctively there, I wouldn't have thought. Although, I could be very much wrong. In the comments below.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at, though, because we in the British Isles, we do have a very rich, it's that medieval history.
Yeah, so even like medieval, even pre-medieval, like if I go another couple of hundred miles, no, I won't go that way. I'll be out of Wales. If I go another hour, I'm in Caerleon, which is like a huge Welsh Roman fortress, and they've still got the groundworks there and everything. So we can go back all the way to like my village that I live in, which is a tiny little village. No one ever goes here. We got a Roman fort just up the hill, and I do think that is inspiration to us. So I'm just curious how Americans, do they feel that? Is that something?
Yeah, because European history is very. It's got that medieval and that a long time of constant being invaded, taken over by other nations and things. Whereas America, the British settled there.
British? Do you want to rephrase that one?
Okay, the English. It was an English colony.
So the English stole America and then had it stolen off them.
Look, when a good idea gets out of hand, you just cut loose. And you go back home and go, stuff it, nothing to do with us, lads. They'll ask for help in a bit.
So yeah.
But yeah, it's a different type of, because don't get me wrong, they've got an extremely varied and fascinating history, but it's because of the timelines in it.
It's much more condensed.
Yeah. It's an interesting point. Do they obviously with media and things now?
Yeah.
Obviously, you can get access.
And most Americans can think I come from ancestors of Germanic folk or or Scottish people or whatever. So yeah, it probably doesn't make much difference. But to me, it feels like my countryside is baked into me, and the history of my country is baked into me, because we taught about it in school, and we, what have you. So I grew up learning about stuff that's close to who I am, and therefore, historically, is much more sort of medieval, what have you, learning about the Celts and etc.
Yeah, and that makes sense with you saying that's what you sort of you lean into.
Exactly.
With the miniature painting and stuff, yeah, it's an interesting one. As I say myself, concrete jungle. It's industrial revolution, so factories, big grey and brown buildings everywhere, with boarded up, bricked up windows, because people around here never paid the window tax. Go look that one up. Oh, but and I tend to lean more towards sci-fi, so there could be something in that.
There probably isn't, but it sounds smart.
Yeah. But is there? So obviously you have that fancy sort of leaning, that initial. Is there anything else you sort of look at or helps inform decisions when you're either painting or playing a game or whatever?
Okay, so like we've said before, I am not a person who researches colours or finds the best colours to work with this colour, etc. That is just not my style of painting. I don't look at a piece of art and think, I'm going to make that art on my miniature. It's just not me. I don't plan ahead that much. My brain won't hold a thought that long to keep something like that in my face. But, I do look at stuff like, say, Angus McBride paintings, etc. And I kind of, when I look at my miniatures, I think, that's kind of the same sort of colour schemes that he would have used. So I think I'm being inspired by him without even knowing I'm being inspired by him. I love Chris Achilleos. He's an amazing artist. But, I couldn't paint anything even resembling his colours and what have you. They're just beyond me. So I'm inspired, and it gives me a drive to want to create something, but it doesn't necessarily mean I am trying to make it, using his styles, should I say. Yeah,
that's fair.
What about yourself?
Well, I definitely lean more towards the macabre and evil stuff. But I've always been interested in that, monsters and so this is going to be the therapy session on camera. This is
I did think when you said I lean towards the evil stuff, but I've always been like that.
Just getting it off my chest. It's all coming out now. No, I think it's things. So some would argue irresponsibly, but being allowed to watch things like Terminator, RoboCop, Aliens at the age of 8-9 years old. We'd just go to the video store, grab it, rent it for a week, and just mum would watch it first and be like, okay, you can watch this, even though it was clearly an 18 certificate.
I had an older brother, so it was more up to my older brother to say whether I could watch something. So it tended to be that I could watch whatever I wanted to. The only thing it was like, hang on, there's a new scene coming.
Because I remember it. It's still to this day one of my favourite films. John Carpenter's The Thing. I love that film, and I saw that at the age of 12, and I was just mesmerised by it. The body horror, the special. I mean, even now as an adult, the special effects still stand out. They're still good
because it was actual effects. There was actually something there being stretched and grotesquely, mutated. So it wasn't like a CGI version of it. So
definitely,
that's why it stands up to the test of time a bit.
Yeah, definitely. That has had a massive impact on how because I don't just do a bit of art, I do a bit of sculpting as well in my spare time. I've done sculpting on the channel and things, but I do other things for myself to sort of, like we were saying, getting into that Zen moment. And that film has been a massive influence. To the point where, so I studied art in secondary school. Did it as an A level, and H.R. Geiger, which you shouldn't be looking at 16. It's crazy artwork.
He was a troubled young man.
Yeah. But I would look at that and go, "Oh, that's cool. A baby is a bullet in a gun. That's this huge pit. That's fantastic." Yeah, gets my head going.
Yes. Everything looking rather suspiciously like male genitalia. Yeah. A lot of phallic imagery in that. But
it's definitely because of those influences. That's why I have more fun painting a monster. Like I'll do an orc bust, or I've got some skeletons here in front of me. I've got an ithalid. I love Lovecraft, so anything with tentacles is a win. Leave that there, don't you dare, because I know what you're going to say.
I said nothing. You brought this up.
Keep that hentai shit elsewhere, man.
You walked straight into that tentacle field.
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. Okay, all right.
That's where it stops. Nothing.
Yes. You have to separate your perversions.
Yeah, because if anything, those people who watch that hentai stuff have infiltrated our cult to bring the great old ones back and have wrecked it.
Yep. So Cthulhu's now, some sex-craved octopus.
Oh no, there is actually a game on Steam where you try and seduce Cthulhu. It's
wow. Okay.
Oh, dear God, I've not played it, but
no, not yet. Not yet.
No.
You want to seduce Cthulhu? I can see it in your eyes.
But there is for me there is something to be said for cosmic horror in particular. I love the idea of something that is so alien you can either can't comprehend it or describe it, or it is just so horrific that your mind melts in front of it. So any miniature or anything I can see that speaks a bit of that, I'll buy it and I'll paint it, definitely.
Yeah, that's a good shout actually, because I am kind of pushed the opposite way. I think maybe because I have mental health struggles, like a lot of us do. So I'm kind of pushed away from the cosmic deep despair, lose your mind to the darkness kind of thing. I am, just slightly, pushed away from it. Not that I got anything against, what have you. But it's just my polar opposite. I would like to think of myself as a creature of light, and and I kind of try and gravitate towards more. This is fantasy. Let's get away from the real world for now.
Yeah.
And I think maybe grimdark and that sort of cosmic deep despair is kind of too close to reality for me.
Yep, no, that's fair. I would definitely argue painting that stuff helps me cope with it.
Yeah.
Definitely, because I can sort of face it as you will. If you want a better word.
Yeah. I'd rather bury my head in sand. It's much better for me.
I think as well. I also the reason I struggle doing a lot of fantasy stuff, like I'll do, for example, orcs and things like that. That's fine. The more monstrous side of fantasy, not a problem. But when it comes to say elves and humans, I struggle because in my head, Tolkien has made such an impact. There's no other way to see it. And because I can't get that on that process onto a miniature, I won't bother. Like the Lord of the Rings films have massive impact on
when you say in Tolkien, do you mean the Lord of the Rings movies? Or?
Both, and the books, and the books.
Because Tolkien, originally we kind of saw them much more as a sort of medieval, sort of Anglo-Saxon-y type people. So I think Peter Jackson moved away from that quite a bit, so... But
it's the way he had, each race had its own architecture and sort of sense of feel and style, that sort of thing. Because Rohan's always been my favourite. And it's Anglo-Saxons with horses, and the whole idea of Tolkien was playing with if we'd have had cavalry at 1066, could have things been different?
I can see that. I can see why trying to make fantasy your own fantasy is a bit of a problem because there's kind of one school and everybody's gone down that one route. Unfortunately, no one's really tried to break away too much. There are people, but generally speaking, the elves are always going to be tall, thin, fairly sort of arrogant, fairly aloof creatures that are, thing. I suppose if you're going back to like the She or whatever, however you want to pronounce it, sort of the Irish elves or the Celtic elves, they were quite a bit different because they weren't all sweetness and light by any means. So yeah, I think there are other routes to go, but I would struggle with stuff like elves, especially. I can't paint elves. They just every elf they're too bright. They're too they're too happy, too tall. They're like yourself. Yeah. They're fluffy giants.
I'm taller. I'm taller than an elf. I'm part troll.
Yeah, well, myself being a natural hobbit or a dwarf, it's.
But I think as well, you saying that actually, it's come to mind. So it's more because when we were saying about getting into that Zen place when we're painting, it's the escapism from the real world as well. That's a big part of it. And because I'm not painting a human or an elf, which is a humanoid, it's so detached from reality that I can just go and explore places with it and do weird things. Unfortunately, it always goes down the weird, monstrous, lots of gnarly and tentacles. Yeah, always goes down that route. Like I had a parcel arrive today, and one of the miniatures is an ithilid, because of course it is. Because I don't need any more of them, do I? And that'll just be purples and blues going, ooh, that's nice.
Sorry, but purple tentacles is just triggered.
See, you've got the tentacle problem, not me.
It's just in your face.
Yeah. It's like I did. This is I purely made this because I could. I've not even half painted it, so that it won't really show up on camera. That is gross. A friend bought me the Gazcall Thraka GW kit, and then I've kit bashed the hell out of it, and it is this huge, monstrous, like his skull's showing. I
think you'll have to put a still of that up for us.
Yeah, I'll put a picture up. But I just wanted to make a monster. So it goes as grotesque as I could. So they're like in his belly, he's got like a little nurgling popping out, eating its way out and stuff. And I won't paint it. I just do it as that's part of the sort of zenness as well. It's just making something horrific.
See, I've never really thought of it that way. That the more alien the thing is that you're painting, the more escapism it is. I've never really thought of it that way. But yes, that is 100%. Yeah, I can see.
Well, that's, as I say, that's just come to me from you saying about elves and stuff, because they're still very human. Bit more elegant, but
yeah. As far as I go, is kind of the orcs. Orcs, dwarves, those are kind of whatever the game, whatever the setting. Those are the things that I will gravitate towards. I've just got this thing about orcs and dwarves. They're the sort of the flip side of the same coin. So yeah, I like orcs and I like dwarves. So yeah, I think we've sort of drifting away from our inspirations. Yeah.
As is the way. But yeah,
as is the way.
Yeah, it's inspiration though. Yeah, so it's definitely more the monstrous side. So films, a lot of films.
Yeah. So one. Saying that, I don't really like try and copy like a film style or something I see on TV. It just I don't do that. I haven't got the thing. But there are certain films and certain programs that they'll use like a color filter.
Yep.
And that can inspire me because it's like, oh, wow, that is a really clever like sepia filter that they've used or whatever, to make it look sort of like post-apocalyptic or whatever, and I can be inspired by, and I can actually try and sort of copy those colors indirectly, because you're never going to get exactly right. But yeah, that's one of the ways that I am inspired, kind of by like a TV program or something. Would be by the colors that they've used or something. So like Lady Hawk, they used like these bright red cloaks and their shiny, silver armor, what have you. And yeah, I would love to paint something up that way. So that inspired me. So that is.
Yeah, I've got a similar example would be reading the Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire books, and Brienne Tarth, the way she's described of having this slightly bluish metallic armour in the book. They didn't really do it in the show, and I came to painting a miniature of, and it was just some humanoid in full plate. So I did the silver armour, whereas instead of doing like a traditional black wash, I did a slightly thinner blue wash to give it that tint and that hue, and it looked at it. I was like, that's really nice. That works.
That is a nice effect, actually. I've done that once before, and it does really make it look like some sort of blued steel or something, which is really nice.
Yeah, and it's inspiration can come from anywhere. Like just a passage of a book, a bit of like you say, an image on a film or something.
Yeah. And it's the same with like you could say, oh, I'm inspired by like cyberpunk or whatever, but then you could be like, well, are you inspired by the cyberpunk computer game, or are you inspired by Blade Runner? And they got completely different color schemes.
Yes,
and yet are the same
genre, sort of
thing. So I think inspiration, you can be a bit general by saying like, oh, I'm cyberspace, but it's like, what type of cyberspace are you? Are you that sort of gritty, wet, Blade Runner style, or are you that bright neon Tokyo, thing? So inspired by like colors and what have you, and, visual effects. I think,
because I more when I'm searching for something to paint, I will just scroll through reams of stuff. When I find something I like, it'll be based on it looks cool first and foremost. It's got to look good. There'll be something about it that just speaks to me, and I go, I just want to paint that. Not necessarily in a particular style or colour scheme. Just I want to paint that creature, or I can have some fun with that. But I would definitely argue in the subconscious, back in the grey, there's stuff from films and things. Like Aliens is another one that's moulded a lot of my colour palette, and that's a proper grim dark, and the original Star Wars as well. Because a lot of sci-fi before then was very clean and like Star Trek type, and Star Wars comes along and there's bolts missing and there's oil marks and
that sort of dystopian future, as opposed to the sort of what's the opposite?
Utopian. And then a weird one as well. Sorry, slight aside for sci-fi influence as well. Red Dwarf,
right?
Massive influence. The ships, again, they're all worn. They're used. Everything's falling apart. Even little things like in the show, you can tell they're reusing sets and moving them around. But that kind of works because you feel like, well, that's how a corridor should look. Right the way through that section of the ship and things.
Exactly. Everything's been made by the same manufacturer, so why would it change?
Exactly. So that definitely plays a part.
So like sci-fi for me, like I grew up with Star Wars. I watched it every day when I was like, for about 5 or 6 years, I would watch it every single day, driving my family nuts to the point that we were watching it with my daughter the other day, and I was reciting everything word for word.
Nothing wrong with that.
She was just looking at me like, how do you know this? And for me, then it's like Firefly. I love Firefly.
Oh, Firefly's good.
Gone too soon, still in the heart.
Yeah, man.
And I love that sort of world. I love that, it's sort of high tech, but it's not really that high tech. Everything's in the future, but it's kind of still the same shit that we're going through. And I kind of like that. It was, definitely
grounds the setting.
Exactly. You know this world because you still live in it in a way.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, completely agree with that. Oh, Firefly.
So I love. So I'm influenced by that because I do like that low tech sci-fi.
Yeah.
If you go too sort of in the future, too futuristic, my brain starts thinking like, well, yeah, but surely they got this technology by now and they can bypass all these problems, and what have you. You know? So
because that's the exact reason I could never get into Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's too high tech, too polished. I was always Babylon 5.
I've watched Star Trek, probably most of them, but I've never been a huge fan of it. Yeah. It was something to watch. Babylon 5, I loved Babylon 5.
Yeah.
But, I liked Stargate.
Yep, that's another one. Yep.
So they're all sort of things. They've got some sort of link to a much more gritty, more normal sort of spaces there, but it's not that far out of reach from where we are now. So I'm gravitate towards more maybe that sort of sci-fi than really super advanced sci-fi.
Yeah. It's for me. It's the same with fantasy as well. So it's not. Lord of the Rings is sort of like a weird in between. I think it's gritty, but not necessarily super grim dark, for want of a better word. But even as a kid watching things like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Braveheart, I mean, woefully historically accurate, that's by the by, but the style of it works in a way. This ragtag, everyone's grimy, covered in crap. And again, it's that's just something that's, for whatever reason, speaks to me. I don't want a clean knight in shiny armor. I don't want Excalibur, although I love that film. I want someone who's just covered in crap.
Yeah,
it looks like
seen the world.
Yeah, so at a fight, and you can tell. Because for me, like if you think of someone with let's say again, use full plate. Every little nook, every little line is a story. There's a reason they've been hit and stuff, and that plays through right the way from when I'm doing like D&D characters as well.
Yeah, and it'll influence your painting too.
Yeah, I want to do all that damage and that grime. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So you don't generally do then like a guy in the nicely polished, shiny armor. Like you want to see the story in that.
Yeah. I've tried. I have tried to paint that, but it's too clean.
The trouble is it looks artificial.
Yes, yeah, there is that. That's a fair point.
Even though it's probably accurate, it looks artificial because it's too clean.
Because I don't know, it's a weird one though. Because I think this is why I liked your Range of Shadow Deep that you sent me, and why it inspired that bigger model I did. It was, the bright colours. Because I grew up, so on a weekend I'd be at my nan and gran's, and we'd always watch. They used to do it back then, Saturday matinees. So it'd be things like El Cid and these big grand epic medieval films, Charlton Heston and whatever. And everyone's the heraldry and the bright colours, and it looks really good, and they're not really mucky. And that's what I like with especially when you're doing your humans or more humanoids. They're all brighter colours, but they don't look over the top.
Right. Oh, thank you.
No, it's because I can't paint like that. I can't. I struggle.
I think, like, historically, like, it's been proven now that peasants actually wore quite a few colours. They're not quite as drab as we would like them to be. Hollywood wants them to be all in brown and covered in shit. Yeah. But surprisingly enough, people still wanted to look good, even back in the medieval times. Yeah. They did worry about, the Vikings used to clean their teeth and what have you. So, it's... I think this image of them being these dirty peasants kind of is sold to us by some, media. But, they actually did like wearing bright colours if they could,
Yeah.
Obviously, those clothes were more expensive, and, the dyes to dye those clothes were less available. But where they could, a green was quite an easy colour to come up with, because you just needed nettles and what have you to try and make the greens. So the greens were quite popular. The browns were popular, but they weren't like that shit brown that you're not quite sure what color it originally was, but it's not brown anymore. That sort of brown.
Yeah.
This was a nice vibrant brown, and I think so. Inspiration in that way, I kind of try and move away from what we're trying to be told by the by TV, where Robin of Sherwood, every peasant looked like they had been dragged through a hedge backwards, and
Yeah. No, it's a fair point, and it does influence because and this is someone who paints grim dark style, well, grittier style. I think there's almost too much of it in the hobby space as well. There's too much grime and dirt at times. I think that there's a time and place to go ultra, like nasty grimdark. I think there's definitely a time and place for that. But for your rank and file stuff, like
it depends what you're going for.
Yeah.
You can't picture Nurgle walking around with a nice bright pink banner, unless it's the innards of their foes.
Yeah.
So there's a time and a place for sort of nice colours, I suppose. But it doesn't have to be all just doused in black and,
Yeah, no, that's true. Because there's also things like, I'm going to get the name of this wrong. I think it's called Seven Stars. So it's a black and white Austrian film, I think, from the 30s or 40s. It's basically a man playing chess with the devil.
Okay, right.
It's a really I love those sort of old, those very old 40s, 50s films. But the style of it, because it's all black and white, and even though you can't see the colours, you can tell from the fabric the one guy's wearing it. He's clearly got some heraldry, a bit of nobility about him, and he looks clean. But again, like you were saying, adding a filter, that black and white filter, you add that on, and it suddenly just makes everything really like claustrophobic and dark.
Yeah, I think maybe sometimes we're spoon-fed too much in certain things. We're not left to our own imagination to fill the blanks. That's why I like reading books. Yep, because it's all in your head then, unless you're reading Tolkien, and then he'll spoon feed you every leaf that was on that tree that you just passed. But generally speaking, it's going to be left to your imagination. I kind of like that, because that's the kind of old-fashioned type of dude I am. I like to fill in the blanks for myself, and if I don't want to fill in the blanks, I can just sort of slide over it. It's.
I completely get that, because that's one of the. I'm a big horror film fan, and the best horrors are the ones where you don't see the bad guy, because your mind's making, like Alien is a perfect example. I would argue that is a cosmic horror film, but there's times where the creature's just in the shadows, and you can just make, and you're like your brain's making all of the empty info up, and it's more terrifying because of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As the Aliens movies went on, because you've seen him more and more and more and more, it was just becoming like, oh, it's him.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be scared of, because I know what he can do now, and I know what he looks like, and what have you. Yeah. It was that unknown, and that's kind of going back to that primitive fear of the unknown that we all have. That is. Back as far as time goes, we were scared of what's in the forest, because who knows what's there.
Because again, so you saying that as I've immediately gone to the Battle of Helm's Deep in the Peter Jackson films. So you've got the Uruks, there's thousands of them. They've been beefing it up and playing on it all the way through. And it's when the lightning strikes and you see reflected and how many there actually are. And you're like, oh, fucking hell, that's a lot. We're screwed. And then I'm thinking of stuff like, well, what if you did like an OSL on a miniature? So for those who don't know, object source lighting. So you've got like a really dark, let's say an orc in armour, but you do like a blue highlights where the lightning's hit and just flashing, and that could influence a paint job as well.
That actually, wow, actually that would be a very cool.
Especially if just a couple of ranks of them, say 3 ranks of 5, and they're all little certain highlights being picked up.
My trouble with that sort of thing is that you kind of have to tell people what's happening in the picture. Otherwise they're like, well, why is this a funny color, and why is it, So you have to kind of fill in the story, and that's where it kind of like loses me. It's like, I don't want to tell you what to see,
Yeah, it's definitely better for a display or like a mini diorama. Yeah,
something that would be instantly recognizable as, oh yeah, this is that scene.
Because there was a guy, if I could find the video, I'll link it. He did a warband of skeletons, just 28mm scale, but he underlighted them with, so he painted them normal, but underlit them with orange, as if they were walking through a burnt, like jungle floor. And there's all these little embers going off, so it's all orange from underneath. And you got the white, bluish moonlight, and it was a really nice contrast. And together, you look at them and you go, yep, these are undead walking in the night while something's on fire.
I love it when you can actually figure out for yourself what it's meant to be. Unfortunately, my brain doesn't tick that way sometimes, so it's just like, why is this weird color, coming from underneath them or whatever. But like when you can spot it and you think, oh, that's 100%. He's walking along these embers, and he's, that is amazing. I love the way people can capture that sort of thing. Yeah. Sometimes with object source lighting, I do feel like it throws me if it's not coming from the top and they haven't, if he's carrying a plasma gun, I get it. The light is coming from the plasma gun. But if it's something that's meant to be off camera and it's not really explained, then I kind of thinking, why have you got all your shadows coming from this angle? It just throws my brain, because I don't see the shadows looking correct then, even though they are. They're done brilliantly.
No, that's completely fair. It's like, it's just because I've noticed above your head there, I think that's the Walking Dead game. And obviously the Zombicide as well. So the original Dawn of the Dead, where it said all the zombies look slightly bluey-green because there was an issue with the makeup from when they were filming.
Right.
That's why all of my zombies in my last days have a slightly bluish-green hint. I could go for the Walking Dead, the brown, the proper rotten, but even them I'll do slightly more bluey-green, just because I think that's how in my head zombies look because of that film.
That's brilliant. I love that. That's brilliant. I suppose it's like everybody sees Judge Dredd, and it's like, oh yeah, he's wearing his blue coveralls, and it's meant to actually have been black originally. It's just that the ink was crap that they were using. And it made it look blue when they printed it up. So everybody's like, oh yeah, that's, Judge Dredd wears blue, and it's like, no, actually, it's black. But
this is it, man.
We can't change it now. Everybody's used to him wearing blue.
That's it. And it's amazing how those little things, those little accents can inform a miniature or a diorama or whatnot.
I think we've gone off the inspiration bit again.
This is a general chat. It's fair. Well, what else inspires you?
Music.
Oh, what for your actual painting?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So for me, if I'm painting something, let me think. If I'm painting a knight who's a bit sort of bloodied and he's in a battle, I do like to listen to something a little bit heavier than maybe than soft. I don't want to be listening into Enya when I'm painting, a bloodied knight. It just too many senses getting through, sort of confusing information coming in. So I do tend to get inspired by music by listening to, even if it's something like a lyric that I'm thinking, like, oh wow. So like when I was younger, I heard "Knights in White Satin," and I literally thought it was a knight who wore white satin.
Okay, yeah.
So that inspired me at the time, and I had all these knights, and I painted them all up in white tunics, thinking they were knights in white satin.
No, if it works, man. That sounds pretty cool, though.
Well, the paint job probably wasn't great, but so it inspired me to do miniatures, even though I misunderstood what the lyrics were. Music can inspire me to paint certain things.
Okay, I see. Because music for me is just, it's there in the background.
Right.
Like I do have a specific painting playlist on Spotify,
Okay.
but it doesn't. There's all genres there, and I don't mind what the song randoms to. I'll just keep listening.
Yeah. I can't say it always does affect me, but me too. I have like just a background playlist that I have playing of my artists and what have you. But yeah, I tend to have like a heavier one and a more mellow sounding track, depending on, more to do with the mood that I'm painting usually. But yeah, it can influence, I think, my paint jobs. If I'm banging out a belter of a tune, I don't really want to be doing like fine elven robes while listening to Disturbed,
Yeah. With the Welsh script not withstand.
Yeah.
That's a thing, that isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, there you go. So, music for me can be.
Music. The only time I use music, I suppose, is if I'm playing a game, a miniature game. I can use it as a nice background. So the Aliens board game, I'll have the Alien film soundtrack on. Okay. It's just a cool little link. I've got there's some really cool sort of apocalyptic zombie playlists on YouTube that are free. That's on in the background when I'm playing Last Days, things like that.
Yeah.
And also the Sharp soundtrack for when I'm playing Silver Bayonet is always a win. Gotta love that. See, one.
I hear everybody talking about Sharp. I've never seen it.
What the?
I know. Napoleonics have never been my area where I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do Napoleonic, so I need to watch a Napoleonic thing. It's just never really been on my radar. So as much as I love Sean Bean,
but it's Sharp, and it's one of the few things where Sean Bean doesn't die. Comes close a few times.
Maybe that's what's wrong with it.
Sharp is. Oh, that's my childhood, man. BBC Two for Thursday night. That is 8 till 9 episode of Sharp.
See, I'm older than you, so my childhood is like Robin of Sherwood. So
that's all right. I watched that as a kid. I say you're not that much older. You've not watched Sharp. Oh my god.
Yeah, never watched Sharp. Never.
Do you like? This will annoy Sharp fans, but do you like James Bond?
Not really.
Okay, that's not a good example then. Shit.
Okay, you just sold me on not watching Sharp.
Because it's he gets the girl and all this usual stuff. It's just such a good TV show.
Yeah,
if for nothing more than seeing Pat Harper screaming, 10 Frenchmen drop, and then he fires his gun. Every episode, he's got a 6-barrel knock gun, and he just goes, ah! And they all drop. Every time. Everyone else in the shows are actually shooting, but Pat's just an artillery piece. No, man. I can't believe you. Hornblower?
For some reason, that never thinged in. Yeah. What was that?
Hornblower? You seen that?
No.
Master and Commander?
Nope.
Okay, I mean, watch Master and Commander. It's a very good naval film. Might get you into Russell Crowe. Might get you into the Napoleonics.
Yeah. Yeah, just never really been. That's just not something that I feel inspired by. Yeah. Coming back to our inspiration. I come full circle.
Is there anyone or channels or anything that you get inspired by watching content?
Right. For me, I don't watch many painting channels. Yours, of course, being the
obviously, yeah,
the rule that breaks it or whatever. But I do watch a lot of YouTube channels that make terrain, etc. Because I find that another outlet which I.
Sorry, apologies. My phone just went off. Sorry, outlets, yeah.
Yeah, and so I find terrain another outlet for my creative juices, my zenness or whatever. It's good for my mental health. So I do watch YouTube channels on building terrain, etc. And that's probably more what I use my YouTube inspiration or get my YouTube inspiration from is for building terrain. It's just because there's loads of techniques out there to make different weird terrains and what have you. And I seem to be more interested in that than I am painting techniques for some reason. It's a weird thing. It feels more like construction to me, and I can get my head around construction more than art.
Yeah.
So I watched oh God, I can't even say his name because I think he's Belgian or something. Arufian, I think he's called. And he sort of uses really cheap sort of everyone can get type of stuff to make terrain out of, and it's really clever how he actually ends up making fairly decent stuff actually. So it's just like crap cardboard or stuff that he's picked up from a skip somewhere.
Fair play.
So I watch more YouTube, and I'm inspired more for YouTube sort of terrain building more than painting.
So I get so tabletop minions.
Yeah.
For more, you can just come up with stuff that I've never even thought of, concepts, and I just go, oh, that's actually really cool, and maybe I can put that in somewhere into a paint job or whatnot. For pure painting, I had to bring it up on phone because I'm going to butcher his name. Sergio Calvo Miniatures.
Okay.
That man is just painting art. It's out of this world. His painting, and then that is not to watch. I get inspired to try and push myself to do better painting. But I don't get inspired to copy because you can't copy that. And then, go on. Sorry, go on. Yep.
No, well, like we've said before, there's a hell of a difference between inspiration and copying.
Yeah. And then the other two would be Black Magic Craft for terrain, and then for me personally, Grimdark Compendium, just for it's gross. The stuff they paint, it's disgusting. But I love it. I just watch it. I go, oh, I'm happy. I'm in my happy place. Monsters everywhere.
Yeah. So to be honest, I've subscribed to so many terrain channels I can't even remember them off the top of my head. So
Yeah, train I struggle with.
What do you struggle with about it?
I like making. I've made tons of stuff in the past. I enjoy it. I've got all the kit for it. It's just storage. Can't store it.
All right.
So I want to come up with. I'm trying to figure it out, or see if anyone out there knows where I can get some. A neoprene mat. Just have a building, and it's just the outline of a building from a top-down view, and then a wood, and then because then they're easy to store. You can just chuck them out on the table. Boom, done.
I think this is actually a topic I was going to bring up. That's what we're going to have to do for once is terrain.
Yeah.
As a video topic. But yes, neoprene terrain I think is a good idea, especially for people who have got limited space, which is most of UK, because we don't live in these giant houses like the Americans do, where their flats are bigger than our houses. Neoprene is a good way to go anyway, because sometimes, especially if you're YouTubing, showing a battle report on with a building in the middle, it just covers, so you can't actually see what's happening on the other side of that building from the camera angle, etc. So YouTube wise, neoprene trees, forests, lakes, whatever, is a really good way to go.
Because you can get most of those. It's buildings you can't seem to get hold of.
I can't say I can think of.
Because what did it was, I haven't played it for a while. The Song of Ice and Fire war game. In that you get trees and things, but you get walls, palisades, spiked walls, and just as a table to set up, it was like, well, this is really easy. It all compacts down into a little side compartment in my tyrant bag that all my army's in. It's ideal. And if anyone knows where you can get that but buildings, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, because I know War Machine used to have neoprene terrain and all, but I don't think buildings again. I think it was all...
It's all natural. Natural stuff, yeah.
There Loki battle mats, if you want to come up with an idea.
I did try and print some off just on cardstock using Incarnate's map editor.
Okay.
Getting the scales always hard. And also, you can't really have multiple tiered buildings as well, which is a slight annoyance. But I don't mind that.
There's always going to be a trade-off.
Yeah.
You know, you can go for ultra realism, or you can go for like practical use, and you know, you're always going to have a trade-off between the two somewhere.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So if you could sum up, because obviously you're going to do this because you're the wizened old veteran.
Of course I am.
And just because I'm getting in there first, if you could sum up inspiration, because I would say it can strike anywhere. Sometimes I will just jot it down in a little notebook as well, if it's like a note on my phone or something. If I'm out and about, I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. That's a cool colour scheme. I've been known to take photos of cars and stuff in the past. If I've seen like a nice shade, I'm like, oh, that's a cool colour. I'll see if I can match that. But yeah, how would you sum up inspiration?
Well, like I said, I'm a paint by the seat of your pants kind of a guy. I tend not to overthink things. So inspiration for me is much more subliminal than, sort of in the front of my mind. But I would say inspiration is exactly that. Inspiration, not copy. You know, you don't need to do it exactly like the thing that you like in order to get the essence of what you like. So GW, for example, will show you the way that this Space Marine is meant to look. Okay, doesn't necessarily have to be how he looks. That's an inspiration for what your Space Marine might look like. Don't take it as gospel truth, and they will not come knocking on your door and kill you or whatever, drag you out into the night and beat you if you don't, do it exactly as they want. Use it as inspiration, and I think whatever form your inspiration comes in, remember that it's your style with inspirations from someone else.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I agree with that. But do your own thing. Don't. I mean, you will probably copy at some point. We've all done it, but you'll find your own way and your own style. And as long as you're having fun doing the hobby, keep doing it.
100% fun.
Yep. So yeah, that was more of a random chat and looking at inspiration, but that's fine. We probably are going to do a bash in GW episode.
Yeah, well, it's such a big topic and such low-hanging fruit that we're going to have to.
Oh, but I want to do it just because they stole Tau Pathfinders off me, bastards. I came up with that unit, ladies and gentlemen listening, and they stole it from me on a games day. The knobs. Literally a year after the guy was like, oh, they look really good. Hey, you've converted them. Yeah, cool. They came out as a box set. I'm like, fuck you. Dickheads.
Yeah, and I, of course, I had my ideas stolen by this little-known writer, J.R.R. Tolkien. I came up with that idea, and he just stole it from me. It's just, that arsehole.
I mean, you say Wales is all picturesque and stuff, but he wrote that in Birmingham, mate.
Yeah, but his elven language was based on the Welsh language, so, the most beautiful people speak in Welsh.
Do you actually?
Well,
the only time I've heard Welsh is when an Englishman walks in a pub and then they clock your English, then they all start and you're like, you're all speaking English, just what's this?
Yeah, well, I was bringing that up with my dad, and he said you might actually have a point. Yeah.
No, wicked. But no, as always, thank you very much. And where can people find you?
As always, on Welsh Miniature Board Gamer on YouTube, and I don't do any of the other social media, so if you find someone else called Welsh Miniature Board Gamer, it's not me.
Yep. And crafty video for myself, and we'll see you on the next one. Any questions, anything you'd like us to talk about, please let us know.
Yeah, that'll help with videos too.
Yeah.